Good morning, guys. Everyone can hear me okay? We can be a little more liberal, it's us. It's the core group. And as we begin our service today, we acknowledge that there's a lot of people in the community, there's a piece of your family, there's friends, co-workers that aren't able to be here today, not because they didn't want to be, because we're just in a funny time in our world. So we acknowledge today that so many people have probably already reached out to you, and so many will reach out as we go forward to honor your beautiful wife and honor this family that you and her have created. So good morning. My name is Jen, for those who I have not had the chance to meet. And those viewing this service later on today or tomorrow, we welcome you. And we're happy that you're able to join us to observe the service and to take part in this very special celebration for the late Janette Marontate. We are gathered here to honor, remember, and celebrate the life of Janette Marontate. Jan will be remembered for the many roles she played throughout her life. The cherished daughter, the baby sister of 7 brothers, eight total. 8 brothers?
8 brothers.
8 brothers. So the saint, the soulmate and loving wife, the devoted mother, the doting, adoring grandmother, her new role of great-grandmother, the beautiful friend, the feisty defender of the underdog, the creator of beautiful moments for family and friends, and above all, a woman who made it her life's work to leave this earth better than she found it. And I think those joining us here today and those who will view our service can agree with full hearts that she did just that. She created beauty in her life in every way that she could, and I welcome you all here today. Today we have one job: slow us down, pause from the hustle and bustle of our busy lives, and take the time to honor, remember, and celebrate her beautiful life. And as I look back on her years, I think you all would agree that if she could have been healthy and things could have been good, you would have taken her for another 70 plus years, because she was one of the life beats of your family. I got to spend a little time this week with her husband and her children, and I received many messages from grandchildren who sent through moments they will never forget. All of these messages and stories had a theme. It was that Jan valued every moment she spent with you, every ounce of energy she put into special projects. When the kids were little, from painting felt animals to share with classmates, to hand painting planks and planks of wood to decorate a winter carnival, to the home she and Len built, where she was determined to get 25 people around the same table so no one ever had to sit and feel left out. When she helped the boys care for their business that was cleaner than most homes. And all of these moments and thousands more, she continued to prove then, and maybe more so now, that she will always be truly unforgettable. So as we begin our service today, I'd like to share a special song that was heard on the radio a few days ago, and Len thought that it would be fitting to play now.
That's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
When I hear that song and the little tingle of those notes, those pretty little notes that set our stage. This morning when I was driving out to the service, it was the most beautiful morning. It was warm, warmer than it's been in several weeks. The sun was glistening off of everything, every tree, every flower I passed along the way. And I kept hearing your words about how beautiful Jan was able to make things. And I truly believe that, like the sun, she was able to make everything more beautiful with her light. And I'm so happy today that we have a beautiful day to celebrate her. At this time, I would like to ask Andrea to come forward and share a reading and memories of her grandma with us.
For those of you joining us virtually, I'm Andrea, Jan's granddaughter. We're gathered here today to say our last goodbyes. She may not be with us physically anymore, but her spirit will always be around us and a fond memory in our hearts. There is a time for everything and a season for activity under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, the time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. 3:1-4. The last few years were a little different, but she enriched our lives with the many talents she had. She was a chef in the kitchen, and it would bring us joy to everyone of what she thoughtfully made with care. It didn't matter how many birthdays or special occasions we had in the same week, everyone had their own personal cake, or she made sure that there was a boatload of food so anyone could bring a care package home. The first time, she told us to look under our dinner plates for a piece of paper to see who was saying grace. So then we all got in the habit of looking under our plates as soon as we sat down at the table. Last year, everyone had a piece of paper and a part in saying grace. My part last year was, please bring us the strength and wisdom to value and appreciate each day for the gift that it truly is. This was meaningful as we all knew we were on borrowed time with her. And if we could have asked for more time, it still never would have been enough. Grandma was so knowledgeable in the garden and knew just the right spot for every plant. She has planted a little piece of herself everywhere, and that will always be something we will treasure. As long as those roots are still there, we can enjoy the blossom of her memory for years to come. She had so many skills, whether it was giving the boys haircuts in the garage or teaching the girls how to sew something together. She never stopped moving. There was always something to be done, to learn, or to teach to others. She was a rock and she was a wing. If you wondered where you got your backbone from, it was from her. She was fierce, and if you had a problem with it, it wouldn't matter what it was. She would always say, "Does Grandma need to go set them straight?" Or the grin that she would give you before saying, "You think so?" And at the same time, she had the gentlest hands. The way she would touch you on your back when she had something to tell you with a soft giggle and a smile. Another thing she would say is, "Whatever makes you happy." I remember going over, and she comes up to me in Austin and says, "You'll never guess what I did." She had tried to iron the wrinkles out of a $50 plastic bill, and it had shrunk down to the size that fit in the palm of her hand. We laughed and laughed, but that was Grandma. She reminded me of the Queen, everything to be done with perfection down to the money not having wrinkles. She was supportive, and at times wasn't. The point being, she always had your best interest in mind, never wanting you to be disappointed or get hurt, only wanting you to flourish and be happy. There was a deep love and undoubted devotion she had for all her family and friends. The random gifts she would bring because she saw it and thought of you right away. It was her love and thoughtfulness that will be so dearly missed. I'd like to end with a poem called Legacy of Love. A wife, a mother, a sister, an aunt, a grandma, and a great one too. This is the legacy we have for you. You taught us love and how to fight. You gave us strength and you gave us might. A stronger person would be so hard to find, and in your heart you were always kind. You fought for us all in one way or another, not just as a wife, not just as a mother. For all of us, you gave your best, and now the time has come for you to rest. You've earned your sleep. We love you dearly and may weep. Thank you.
Thank you for those words. I feel like when I was listening, I heard that support, that peace, that she was strong enough and loved you enough to be honest. Even when it wasn't always popular, even when maybe, it didn't come across the way she wanted, she was strong enough to be honest. And there aren't a lot of people in our world that are. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing that tribute. It's really tough to do, and thank you for doing that. When we look back at this beautiful life, for the last 60 or so years, there has been this beautiful duo that has gone through everything together. Love, loss, excitement, trials, tribulations. And when I asked Leonard to share his story and how he met Jan, he said, "Well, I think I have a first cousin to blame for that." But their story would begin like many at a dance at Bailey's Beach Club. He also referenced his old, was it a 56 sled?
59.
59, what kind of make was it?
Ford Fairlane.
Ford Fairlane. He also referenced his 59 Ford Fairlane. Might have played a piece of this as well. When I asked him to share what he will miss most about Jan would be her friendship, her partnership, her enduring and selfless love. And he shared how lucky that they have been in their life to have each other and this big, beautiful family. Brad shared, as the oldest, that he remembered Mom always being there. track and field meets, home-cooked meals. All of the kids, but both Barry and Brad shared they knew nothing of this Kraft dinner or canned spaghetti sauce. And they had the unfortunate experience of trying these things later on in life and realizing how wonderful they had it at home because they didn't even know these things existed. Because everything that their mom made was perfect. Everything had that extra ounce of energy, that extra ounce of love, and made it perfect. When they opened their own business, Mom and Dad were there to help them take care of it. And as I said earlier, people would joke that the truck stop floor was cleaner than their own homes. And if the candy jar was empty, Jan would sometimes get even a phone call looking for that special candy and that extra special care. Barry shared that his mom could size someone up in 10 seconds and get a sense of who they were. This was often an advantage, but if that person wasn't acting accordingly and with respect, you bet Jan would let it be known. Even in the last few weeks of her illness, she wasn't going to let anyone treat anyone else with anything other than dignity and respect. And she was going to make certain that that continued. I'd like to share some words that Lisa has prepared as a tribute for her mom. And I tried so hard to break this up and use pieces. But when I read it, and I read it again, and I read it again, I thought, well, what piece am I going to leave out? Because I think this is a beautiful tribute that really encompasses her mother and her full life. I remember as a child being fascinated by my mother's ability to read, understand, and reach people, particularly in moments of great need. Being from a large family, there was always something going on, a wedding, a birth, an illness, a death. And without fail, she would always be there for everyone. Often I never fully understood what might be going on. I just knew she would come and go with a grace about her, and you knew she was doing important work. Being the youngest of the family with 8 brothers, she helped with their children before she had children of her own. Even today, I see the close bond she had with nieces and nephews. They count on Aunt Jenny for support and an understanding ear when they need one. When her grandchildren were born, she was reborn again. Her love for all of them was instant. I had moved from the area for my husband's work, but the minute she knew there was a baby on the way, she had her bag packed and was heading down the highway, never wanting to miss that special moment of holding her newborn grandsons. Then she would stay with us as long as she could, helping out with the baby, making food, doing laundry, taking care of the house and the yard. She truly was a selfless person at all times, almost to a fault. I say that because she always put others before herself. Living far away meant that my relationship was a bit different from the rest of the family. When I saw Mom and Dad, it was always all or nothing. We were here when they were here, or we were there with us 24/7. We were too far away for short visits. That meant we woke up and had coffee for an hour together, always the best time of the day. When everybody was just greeting the morning, still sleepy, our defenses down, with open hearts and minds, we would discuss everything from family events and dynamics, medical appointments, dreams, and wishes. Then we would get busy filling the day with road trips or things that needed to be done around the house or yard. By 4 p.m. it was always happy hour, with more comfortable, easy conversation as we sat tired but happy with the day's events. In the evening there would be Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and likely some Dancing with the Stars. Both Mom and Dad loved to watch the dancers move with beauty and ease. And before we knew it, we were also hooked, watching it after they had gone back home and then discussing it on Sundays. Because of the distance, I got in the habit of calling them every Sunday at precisely 9 a.m. If I was even a few minutes late, they would think that something was wrong. Every Sunday we would have our hour catch-up where Mom would fill me in on what was happening down here, and I would bring her up to date with what was going on with me and my family. My husband loves to travel, and when his nan was celebrating her 100th birthday, we invited Mom and Dad to come with our family to England and Scotland. This was the beginning of a number of holidays they spent together. On our trip to England and Scotland, there were 8 of us traveling together. It was often chaotic trying to get 8 people, 2 of them under 10, on and off trains, subways, and airplanes, but Mom and Dad loved every minute of it. Mom was a big fan of the royal family and was over the moon to go to Buckingham Palace. She took in the gardens of England and Scotland with her expert, admiring eye, looking at every petal on every single flower. In the evening, the kids would play cards and just roar with laughter. It was truly a memorable trip for everyone. In the years to follow, we went out west and east together. Always, no matter where we went, a garden tour was part of our trip. Mom was at ease and filled with peace in a garden. Then, and even more so now, those memories are treasured of time well spent together. Mom and Dad were way too good to us. We had a beautiful century home and they loved it as much as we did. They spent countless hours in the yard making it into a showpiece. After she was gone, I would have to call often and ask what I should do with this flower or that plant. I never was able to make them flourish the way she could. When they were visiting, I always felt so cared for. Nobody could take care of you the way Mom could. I would often go to work and come home to the wonderful smells of dinner cooking. Again, happy hour would happen, and then we would all gather around the table for our favorite dishes. Again, no one was able to make those dishes quite the way she could. Even with a recipe, I am certain I won't be able to replicate it because they were made with her special touch, so much care and love. At Christmas, Mom and Dad would roll in with their truck filled with goodies of every nature, and she would transform our home into a masterpiece. She had an incredible eye for the smallest details that made it look like a professional had decorated. Every detail would be considered, from the entryway to the back door to the mantle, the chandelier, the back and front staircase. She would cover an old pipe with garland and it became something completely different. We would get to enjoy the beauty of Christmas through her eyes for the next 2 months. We would then spend Christmas at their home, a tradition my children will never give up. Waking up on Christmas Day with Grandma and Papa was all they knew. What a great place to have Christmas. Again, a masterpiece. No space untouched by her magic. She would put up 3 trees. 1 tree was just for grandchildren. It was in the solarium and it was tall and grand with giant Christmas balls, each with their names written on their own ball and a train underneath. Who wouldn't want to spend Christmas there? In the last few years, she created a tradition. For every person seated at our Christmas table, which was usually around 22, she would purchase the same number of dinners for the Amherstburg mission. She was wealthy in spirit and heart, and she wanted to share with those less fortunate. The essence of my mom is vast and somewhat difficult to totally define. She was beautiful inside and out. She was stubborn. When she got something in her head, no one was going to stand in her way. She was strong. Everyone could count on her in good times and bad. She was caring and giving. She loved deeply and hurt deeply. She would go to the ends of the earth and back for family, her husband, her children, grandchildren, brothers, nieces, and nephews, absolutely everyone. And that was our mom. Thank you, Lisa, for writing that and giving us who didn't know her and those who did the ability to remember all of the different ways she impacted your family. Thank you. One of the pieces that you mentioned in the beginning was she had this ability to reach people. And after reading your tribute, it appears that she had this in spades. But it wasn't something that she took for granted. and we go back to that extra pinch of Jan that she put into everything that she did. At this time, I would like to ask one of her grandsons, Eric, up to share a poem with us. The poem untitled, we believe it should be called We Remember Her.
In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember her. In the blowing of the wind, in the chill of winter, we remember her. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember her. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember her. So long as we live, she too shall live, for she is now a part of us as we remember her.
Thank you, Eric. One of the greatest gifts Jan's children would give to her was grandchildren. And the call went out for memories and moments, and some have been shared with us today live, so thank you. And I'm sure due to the number of restrictions, some weren't able to share in person. And again, I really wanted to rip these apart and find the most perfect piece of all of them, but I just didn't think we could do it justice. So I'm going to share for those who sent memories, maybe summarize a couple, but in most part, they all talk about something a little different. The first one I will share with came from Austin. Austin, are you joining us live? Hi. Hi. Thank you. Grandma was warmth and a soul you could rely on. Her love for us was without condition. It was hard to see this at a young age, but as one grows and learns, you start to realize the little things she did. Whether it be Easter egg hunts around the house, calling to check in on that sprained wrist, or the copious amounts of family events her and Grandpa hosted throughout the years. Now, as a young adult, I struggle to entertain 3 people, let alone a family like ours. She was always happy with any interaction she got to have with her family. A call, a brief pop-in visit, a full-blown family function. She always went out of her way to ensure that everyone was welcomed and definitely full. One of my earliest memories was watching a Spitfire game with Grandma and Grandpa on the TV at their home. Grandma walked into the freezer and pulled out ketchup chips. It blew my young mind that you could put chips in the freezer. For some reason, this memory is so vivid, like it happened just yesterday. Sometimes I think it was her secret conquest to see how large she could grow her grandchildren. Every family dinner, she was the last to sit down. And then we would always ask what was needed, as if the 200 pounds of food on the table wouldn't suffice. I attribute my size to never leaving her home with even the remote thought of hunger. Whether it be food or gifts or strong opinions, she was a giver. I have never been one to stop for a photo or go out of my way to capture the moment. But now that she has passed, I am glad she made all of the cousins, no matter how reluctant they were, wear their nicest attire and take photos every year with her, as these moments will be captured in time and will help me remember my grandmother. Love, Austin. Thank you. This memory is from Eric. Eric, hi. sense of complete comfort. As the youngest, I always felt a little out of place visiting in years past. But with Grandma, I always felt at ease. Her house, her cookies, her decorations, everything about her epitomized warmth. Stepping into her home meant you were loved. I remember a fridge magnet she used to hang on the door stating, "Home is where Grandma is." Years ago, it made me chuckle, but looking back now, I know nothing to be more true. I think my eternal love for Christmas was born from Grandma. No time of the year brings me more joy. The way she would take the trip down every year to come light up our house with sparkles of glittering green and gold. One of my favorite memories was something so simple. I don't know where everyone had gone off to, but it was just Grandma and I sipping a beer. No chaos from the family events we've come to love, just hanging out, open and free. A warm hug, a cold beer. Grandma made me feel true warmth deep within, like there was nothing in the world that could ever make me feel any different. Thank you, Eric. Eric, what kind of beer?
Oh, Coors Light.
Coors Light, just for the record. This memory is from Jordan. Is Jordan here with us? Hi, Jordan. Grandma. Selfless. Endless time spent preparing meals for her family. Never expected anything in return. All she cared was that everybody was there. Attention to fine details that made everyone feel included. Special dishes, names on place settings, dedication to these events were done because she wanted everyone to feel special and for her family to build a strong and lasting bond. I have a strong relationship with my cousins in large part due to her. When we would go over to have dinner and go fishing with Papa, she always cleaned up so we could get out there ASAP. When we would pass by the house later, she was usually out gardening and would wave and ask how we were making out. Dedicated to her family and to whatever she was doing, if Grandma was taking something on, you knew it was going to be done well. She and Papa taught me the value of a job well done. I remember them both always saying, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it at all. Like Austin said, no one ever went home hungry. When we were in college and university, she always had freezer meals, like meat pies and lasagnas, ready for grandkids to take home with them. Aww. Papa jokingly said we were spoiled rotten, but that was Grandma's way of caring for us when we were far away. She was our biggest fan. In her eyes, us grandkids could do no wrong. She would sometimes question us, but she did that because she cared so deeply. No matter what path we took in life, we always had her unquestioned support. She defined what it was to be a role model, what it meant to be involved and be a loving and supportive grandparent. And she helped her grandkids take big steps in their lives. Her and Papa were a huge help to Christy and I moving into our first home and making it ours. Thank you. This message comes from Grant's partner, Catherine, a bonus granddaughter. The last time I spoke to Grandma, she told me not to be upset. That was Grandma. She never wanted any of us to be sad or to worry. She just wanted us to feel loved. Her heart was always full of love for her grandkids. Being a bonus grandchild, I don't have all of the sweet and loving memories everyone else may. However, I do remember meeting her like it was yesterday. She embraced me like she had known me her entire life and gave me a giant squeeze. And she said, "It's about time Grant has been hiding you away." She held my hand and walked me inside. Graham and I shared love for the royal family. We both thought Princess Di was the most elegant human to grace this earth. We had many discussions on the phone and during visits about the royal family, how disappointed we were in Prince Andrew, how much we loved Kate and Anne, and we hoped the Queen would be in charge forever. I I stared in awe every visit at her small display of figurines. I was always particularly loved the Kate Middleton wedding figure. She smiled and said, "Everyone with the name Catherine must be pretty special, eh?" I responded by saying, "I think it's better when Catherine starts with a C, but that I would have to agree." She squeezed my shoulder, and of course we both laughed. Grandma had a great laugh and a great sense of humor. One fond memory I had was all of us, myself, Grant, Kim, Andrew, and Eric, sitting in the living room inside the condo, and her telling us the story about someone driving it around in an IKEA Soul, instead of the correct name, the Kia Soul. She was always a light, even when I couldn't see her and only hear her. We laughed on the phone often, and I always looked forward to her phone calls, telling her what was going on. I miss those phone calls so much already. Love, Catherine. This song is I believe our last tribute from Grant. And Grant and Catherine are in Halifax, is that correct? Hi guys. Anyone that knew Grandma knew her love of cooking, and nothing made her more happy than to see this family gather around a delicious home-cooked meal. There was always many options: turkey, ham, gravy, but some dishes stuck out more than others. Notably, the marshmallow salad. It seemed totally ridiculous that marshmallows, whipped cream could qualify as a salad, but I didn't complain at the prospect of eating dessert twice, as if there was ever an alternative when you were 5. The other was the layered Jell-O. The layered Jell-O was something I never came to appreciate until much later in life. As it turns out, making the dish is no simple task. It takes hours of prepping and waiting in a meticulous cycle between the kitchen and the refrigerator. Grandma would not hesitate to devote the better part of a day to make something that would disappear in a matter of minutes. I, being young, did not understand the massive undertaking this was, and I would request it every single visit. Thanks, Grant. Yet despite the amount of time and energy such a thing was, I was never disappointed, and the rainbow colored confection adorned the table every holiday. That was how Grandma was. She would do anything to make you smile, regardless of how long it took or how difficult it was. Grandma was a doer. She appreciated the small joys in life, whether it was painstakingly pruning, watering, fertilizing petunias to watch them flower, or stacking layers of Jell-O one at a time for the kids to enjoy. She lived to make those. She loved happy, and no matter what it took. Grandma never missed an occasion. Being some of the only family outside of the Windsor area meant that seeing each other involved several hours of driving and lots of planning. This, however, never seemed to deter her. She never missed a birthday, holiday, or otherwise. Even when I moved thousands of miles away, she would call on the phone and talk about coming to see the ocean and taste the lobster herself. I laughed to humor her, but to my surprise, she did travel here that same summer, just as she said she would. It did not matter the time, the distance, or the inconvenience. There was very little that would keep Grandma from the people and the activities that she loved. Wow. I told you I couldn't cut them up. They're all too beautiful. And every person that started with you, my dear, and went through with every single eulogy captured a little bit of a different essence. We heard she was a doer. We heard she was a giver, supportive, an excellent cook beyond measure. We continue to see that extra pinch of Jan in everything that she did. And to hear that come back. Your grandma didn't do those things, in my opinion, for the accolades or to be praised or to be thanked, but to make sure you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you were loved. I'm going to leave here today and I'm going to try to put an extra pinch of Jan into everything that I do, because I really feel that the dividends will pay back in my own life, and I know that you all are doing that in your life. As we remember these moments, Another song that was chosen, The Rose, which is a beautiful love song, but it also talks about rebirth, and after winter comes spring, and how we're able to flourish. And if it's okay, I'll play that now. As we look at the end of our service today, it was touched on the bond of your family and the bond that you have formed. And when Len and Janette married all those years ago, the dreams that they had, that they were going to build this family, and they did. And as we share with every family, you have this beautiful foundation, and meeting some of you today and sharing my wishes with you, it's now the baton is being passed. The baton is being passed, and each of you needs to take up one, just one, of those pinches of Jan. Just one. And if the 22 or the 21 now each made it their mission to just embody one of Grandma's qualities, I know that all of her beauty and all of the things she shared will give you all the most beautiful life as you continue on in her legacy. Please know that this isn't the end of her story. Those special birthday cakes, the garden projects, and if you're ever brave enough to enter the home construction world, know that you will have your grandma, your mom, and the love of your life with you there. Jan has shared wisdom with all of you, but there's a few quotes that came up in our chat, and I wish to leave them for you today because each is profound. One of the things that Lisa shared was, it's okay to be down, but you can't stay there. There aren't many people from the olden days that even thought you could be down. But Jan knew that how important that was to honor those feelings. We heard that she reached people, that she saw people, that she made a safe space for you to feel. And we heard that she wanted the absolute best life for all of you. So as you go forward today, the troubles that you walk through in your life, acknowledge them, move through them, one foot in front of the other, slow and steady. Another quote she said, after traveling on a plane for one of the first times, as we knew that she liked to keep both feet on the ground for most of her life, was, "I can't believe I could have left this world and not witnessed these wonders." She faced her fear. She stood up to those things, those roadblocks in her life, and she was able to overcome them. That trip she was referencing Alaska, and she felt lucky and blessed to witness the wonders of creation and was compelled to seek out the wonders of the world, and marvel in their history and their beauty and their detail. Another story that was shared, I believe it was Brooke who shared that story with Lisa, and Barry who shared it with me, and shared that Jan had this collection of treasured photos. A table in her home where everybody had their own photo. And as the last little while has been difficult, you moved those photos off the table onto a wall in her bedroom. And I believe it was Brooke was in that space, and she shared, "See, we've brought everyone here. They're all here with you." And Jan responded, "They are my life. They are my life." And how profoundly true that statement is. For all she gave to you, think for a moment the beautiful gifts that all of you have given her. Janette Marontate, you left your mark on this world. You left it better than you found it, on your family, on your friends. Please go forward today and in her memory, work hard, help others, enjoy this life, have fun, see as much of this big world as you can, fight for what is right, stand for what you believe in, love your family. For in the end, that is what we are left with. And if you can do any of these things, you will honor her, and that is how her legacy will live on long after today. I want to thank the Marontate family for allowing me to join you today, for sharing your mom, your wife, your grandma's special story. And I offer my condolences as we go forward from here. So thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Ladies and gentlemen, as this portion of the service draws to a close, we are going to take a few moments together as a family and just prepare to close Jan's casket as we make our way to her final resting place.
forward. You can come right up on the matting if you want to be in the shade. Come on around this side here. Did you want to do the angels before I begin with the committal so that they're holding them? Okay. If you want to call them forward, then they can get into the room with them if you'd like. That's all we're doing, so I hope so. I think that's a great idea.
That's a good idea. Are you videoing that? Oh, then maybe turn sideways. Give it to the kids.
Here for now.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm going to put them here so that they don't pick up.
They won't fall out. Right?
That's it. We meet here under these blue skies to place the body of Jan to this hallowed ground and to dedicate this space to every beautiful and precious memory that is associated with Jan. It is an age-old ritual we perform here, yet a singular experience, for Jan meant so much to us who have gathered here today. We join in the universality of death with the uniqueness of human life in this simple ceremony of farewell. Although Jan's body may no longer be with us, Jan's spirit lives on in us, so long as memory lasts. To live in hearts that love is not to die. In committing Janette's body to this hallowed ground, we do so with deep reverence for the body as a temple during life of a unique and beloved personality. We place Jan's body in the gentle earth, which has been our chief support ever since human beings walked the earth beneath the sun. To all human beings, to all living forms, the soil has ever provided the sustenance that is the stuff of life. To the good earth, we now give back the remains of our loved one. Here Jan's remains will rest in peace. In the days that come, we will visit this place and remember more vividly. You will be forever changed, forever altered by this loss, and that is as it should be. The intensity of the hurt only bears testimony to the depth and meaning of this relationship in your life. Accept the angels, which you have accepted already, that come to you in human form. Take in their comfort, words, and hugs and deeds. Lean on them. Allow them to hold you up at times when grief is too heavy to bear alone. Mostly give yourself time. Time to cry, time to rage if need be, time to walk and think, and time to talk out loud. Don't be afraid to feel all the range of pain and the anguish, and let it wash through you like a river. Sit quietly sometimes with your sadness, or run with it, or take it into the great outdoors and let it move up through the trees and into the sky. Listen to your dreams. Jan was and remains part of you. Treasure her memory. Hold Jan close to you. You will carry her with you always, but the sharp edges of this pain, this relentless sadness will, in due time, give way to something gentler, something more bearable. In time you will remember and laugh out loud at some old joke you shared with Jan. You will believe you hear the sound of her voice, or the way she finally teased or encouraged, or understood you. You will find solace in a myriad of things and creatures and people in which she took interest. And slowly, surely, some healing will come. We say goodbye to Jan and wish her a gentle journey as her dance takes her away from us. We will treasure and honor the gifts and the gusto for life Jan so beautifully modeled for us. In memory of Jan, and for her sake, when you get the choice to sit out or dance, I hope you dance. Eternal rest grant unto her, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon her. May she rest in peace. May her soul and all the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. And may the love of God and the peace of the Lord Jesus Christ bless and console us, and gently wipe every tear from our eyes. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And then I'll just leave you with one last thought. It's called Moments to Memories. We don't always realize how precious life is, or how precious the moments are that we share, until we experience the loss of someone we love. And we face the greatest pain in life we must bear. We recall moments that stir feelings within us, moments filled with laughter, smiles, and tears. Moments where trials and triumphs were shared together, moments to be cherished for many years. And when the moments have turned into memories, we long to recover those days that have passed. Our memories will keep our loved ones alive in our hearts, where forever those treasured moments will last. So I present this to you in the fond memory of your loving wife. And ladies, just as the gentleman piped for us, I'll invite you if you'd like to come forward to take a rose, either from one of the arrangements here, or I'll help you with that. Or from the casket already. And were you planning on keeping them, or would you like to place them on Jan's casket? Okay, so you have the choice to keep them. You can take two if you'd like.
Yeah.
You can place one with her, and then you can take one as a keepsake, and I'll help with that.
Whatever.
folks, this does conclude our service today. I know that our numbers couldn't be great, but I know that the love from everybody has surrounded Jan, and that is huge. Jen delivered a really special message from all of your tributes. She did an incredible job. Keep her memory alive, keep her spirit alive, keep doing her good work, love one another, and carry on her beautiful legacy. Thank you all. This concludes our service.